All right, welcome back. This is Kevin McCain with Idaho Art Classes and Kevin McCain Studios. So, we're going to be doing some perspective stuff, and we're going to be talking about how to add boxes to other boxes. Essentially, that's what a house is, just a whole bunch of boxes that are connected. And so we're going to start off with how to do that. A couple we're going to kind of show you the technical aspect of how to do that, and then we'll do a sketch. And it's a really good skill to be able to visualize. So let's say we start with, I guess we can make this a little bigger. You know, whenever you're dealing with stuff like whether it be a car or whether it be some sort of bicycle or, you know, you name it, cityscape, houses, barns, you know, consoles or remote controls or any of that sort of stuff, laptops, you know, phones. We're talking about boxes, and there's other boxes that are much, you know, more modified, like a motorcycle or like a bicycle or something like that. But still, they still have a front side, top side, bottom side, back side. You develop them from a box. So with this, we're starting with a true rectangle, which means we're dealing with a one-point perspective scenario, because it's a true horizontal and vertical lines meeting at a true 90 degrees. That means you're dealing with a one-point perspective scenario. And then we'll make this going back to vanishing point. Now, I'm just visualizing a vanishing point. I'm kind of freehanding this. I mean, I could have set a vanishing point coming, you know, it's far off, you know, above the an outside. I just realized I'm being silly. I've got a T-square. Why wouldn't I use it? Your vanishing points, even your horizon line, depending on what you're drawing, aren't always in your picture. They can be outside the picture. They can be, you know, in different places depending on what it is you're doing. So all right, so we've got the box here. And we're going to go ahead and draw all the sides. So we have 3 sets of lines: height, width, and depth. And within each set, we're going to have either in each one of those 3 sets, you're either going to have 3 lines or 4 lines. We're actually putting all 4 lines into our box. So if we said, hey, this is our A family, well, that's A, and A. And then this 4th one here is A as well. And let's see, if it's on the left, I'm going to name it as B. So this would be B and B and B, and then B goes all the way down here. So that's our 4th B line. And if this was C, we go, okay, that's C, that's C, that's C, and this is the back C. And just to clarify that, we'll leave those lighter, and we'll make these lines a little darker. So, and this is just to make sure that because our eyes won't know what to focus on, and because we instinctively know this is a flat surface, our eyes will start to go, okay, what am I supposed to be looking at? And it'll start to create some serious illusions as your brain flips the thing backwards and forwards, and lines will push forward and lines will push back. And it just really creates quite the illusion for the eye. Whereas if we darken the lines we can see, we will focus on those more, and the lines that are lighter, we will focus less on those, and it will be less confusing to our eye. And when we first start, if you first start drawing in perspective, it's that confusion factor we're trying to avoid, because again, you can be like, oh, that's totally wrong, and then all of a sudden your brain snaps into place, and you're like, oh, no, never mind. And hopefully by that time you haven't done something to ruin the box you had a moment ago, because you perceived that something was wrong when it actually wasn't. So we've got this 1-point perspective box, and we can go ahead and lighten the little letters. But again, this is A, B, and C are the different families. And we have only 3 sets of lines because it's 3D. Those are the sets, height, width, and depth. That's why it's called 3D, is because you have the height, width, and depth, 3 dimensions. So what we need to do is, if I wanted to slice this with like a plane, I had another video similar to this where we were connecting dots on the midpoints all the way around the object, which would be like you're slicing it with like some sort of razor blade or something, or very thin plane. So if I wanted to extend just a plane, I need 2 points. Whenever you're going to extend a plane, you would need 2 points. So if whoops, that moved. That's all right. We'll go ahead and get that back. Now, if I have 2 points, I can make a plane. Okay, and I could use this point here where it touches the bottom, and this point here that touches the top, or once I've defined that this is a plane, I could take any 2 points along this line. So let's say we said, all right, well, these are my 2 points. And again, this line just defines that it is touching that plane in the same place vertically and horizontal, or pardon me, vertically. And so what we'll do is that if I'm going to make this into a plane, I'll just bring... Now, whenever you're dealing with a 1-point perspective box, you're either dealing with, you're using either true horizontals or true verticals or true angles, or the angle going to the vanishing point. I said true angle, but what I should have said was angle going to the vanishing point. So this right here, because it'd be on the side, it would basically be just two horizontal lines and 2 verticals. One vertical is here, and the other vertical is going to be out here where this stops. This right here, and this is just a plane, so it's almost, thinner than a sheet of paper. It has no dimension. It's only 2-dimensional, so there's no depth to it. So this is just a very, very, very thin 2-dimensional plane. It has no depth. Okay, so we only need 2 points to extend a plane like this. Maybe it's a sign on the side of a building, or what have you. Maybe it's a printer on its side spitting out a piece of paper. I don't know what it is, but this is a plane extending off the side of this, this box. So we can we can do this, and I could do the same thing on this side. I could put a line down here, extend one off the back. Let's bring a box in front of this thing though. So to do that though, we need 4 points. Now I could do it one of 2 ways. I could go ahead, and I'm going to start off with this little lighter line, and all I need 4 points though to create something like a box, something that has dimension. So again, I could do this, and what happened there? Oh, what happened there is I didn't have my... Well, something's off here. Yeah, something's way off. This should be... So when I did this, I didn't check my then my T-square was on straight. So I got a line here that's going at an angle, which it should not be, and then that would be now the corner. And so we could correct that. Not that I'm using it right now, but I just can't let that stay. It must change. So anyways, I could use, I could bring it forward again from these points and bring it forward, or if I wanted to, I could pick, let's say we wanted to make it like a sky bridge going between two buildings. Let's say the other building is out this direction. I could go ahead and mark my points. Now again, to do this, we have to keep in mind, okay, we've only got 3 sets of lines. It's either horizontal, vertical, vertical, or a diagonal. One of 3. So I've got my 4 points. Now again, I could have made these the 4 points. We could have brought a whole, like maybe it's a building getting smaller and the whole building comes forward or something. But here's how this would work. Let's say we do the footprint for this. In other words, this is where this would attach. This would be the footprint for this. For this next box. Right. And then what we're going to do is basically we're going to bring these forward. We're going to project these forward. So we're going to come and we're going to, now again, I could have a vanishing point here. I'm using these other diagonals, how it relates to these other diagonals to judge. Like that one right there was the wrong angle. Keeps curving a little bit at the end there. Okay, so I'm bringing these forward in space. All right, so these are all 4 of my diagonals. Right there. So all I have to worry about now is either verticals or horizontals because the diagonals are taken care of. Again, sometimes when we start doing stuff like this, we lose our place in terms of where we are. But if we remember, we've only got 3 sets of lines, the diagonals are already done. Well, then we can go, okay, well, let's just figure out where we're going to stop this bridge or what have you. So we're going to go ahead and connect the right and left side of these lines. Okay. This kind of got changed a little bit in terms of that diagonal, but okay, yeah, let's go ahead and use that. That means that's the corner right there. Okay, so that would then come up. This would then come over, so that hits there. And then if I've done this proper like, this would now, these should go ahead and they should line up exactly. Otherwise, one of my diagonal is out of whack. Again, I did guesstimate the diagonal, but it's not bad. Okay. All right. This was the footprint back here. This is the face of it. Go ahead and use this. Okay, so that's the front face of it, like so. And then what we could see would be, we could see this top plane right there. We can see this side right here. Right, we wouldn't be able to see the footprint. We can't see the bottom. We can't see the right side. We'd only be able to see three sides: the front face, the top, and then the side. Like so. All right, so what we've done is we've brought again, we brought a box forward. And if we wanted to, we could even yeah, that's right. We could, if we want to, bring in a cast shadow. If we wanted to, I don't know that we're going to, but we could. You could bring in a little. Okay, so apparently we are. But this could be a cast shadow for the, in this little box that's projecting. Not from this box over here. Something like that. But, you know, so we've got this thing again projecting off of here. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and we're going to do a 2-point perspective box and have those projecting forward as well. All right, we'll be right back. All right, welcome back. So we've got this 2-point perspective box here. And just like I was saying on this one, now with a 2-point perspective box, we have vertical lines and we have angles that are going to both the right and angles that are going to the left, hence 2-point perspective. They're going to 2 vanishing points outside the picture plane, or outside of the viewing plane. So if we're going to make a box come forward on this, and we'll just do it on the left side for now. And let's see, for this one we'll do the full height of it. We won't, float a couple like we did over here. So now I've got 4 points. 1, 2, 3, 4. We got these 4 points, right? And so what we need to do is we need to bring them forward. So to bring them forward, they have to come from the vanishing point and again come forward towards us. So these are going to come from the vanishing point and come out. Now again, my vanishing points are way off the page, and these are diminishing and they're guesstimations in terms of the vanishing point and where it is. But they're pretty good guesstimations. They're not bad. Okay. So we've got this projecting forward. And I'm just trying to see if these are getting thinner at the back quick enough. And I think they're a little think this one needs to come out just a little bit more. There we go. Okay. Now we're getting bigger as we're coming out, which is what we need. And again, if I ran these to the vanishing point, they'd be close. I'm not worried about it being perfect right now. But we've got all 4 of our sets projecting outward. So the vanishing points going to the far right are done. The only thing that we're going to be doing is either vertical lines or lines going to the left. So what we'll do is I'll start by deciding, hey, this one right here is where the corner will be of this new box. So that's the top and bottom, or the bottom and the top of this. And then this will go back to this vanishing, to this left vanishing point, which would be way, way off the page. So we'd go there. And again, this would be going again to a far distant vanishing point. Come to where that touches that line there. And we're going to bring this down. This right here is the 4 corners of my box. And this one, we're just going to go ahead and connect it. It was on the way, but it just didn't make it there. So, something about like that. Okay. Now, again, the ones we would be seeing, we're going to have to start to lighten some lines, and then we're going to thicken up the lines we can see. But this has all 6 planes of this box. It has the bottom, it has the top, it has the front side, the corresponding back side, it has this front, that back. It's got all 6 sides. So once again, if we said, all right, well, this would be right here would be the foot print of where this box would start. Or the back plane, in other words. This back plane is touching right on the box. So these are not spaced. This thing is touching, this plane of this box. They're up against one another. So then we have the front of it would be here, and we'll just make the front of this plane the same color as the back. Like so. Alright. Then we've got the bottom plane. We'll do the bottom plane in blue. So this is the bottom plane here. Right, this would be the top plane right here. Right there. And then let's do the front plane in yellow. Now these are going to overlap, but this would be the front plane. Right, and then this one back here would be the corresponding back plane. And again, so this yellow is going to overlap some of these other planes. But this would be that corresponding back plane. So the only planes that we can see, because that's all 6, but we can only see 3 of them. So we'd say, yeah, we can see this corner right here. We can see the bottom of this going back and touching the box, like so. We can see this edge where it touches this, touches the other box along there. We'd be able to see this top edge here. We'll leave the other planes that are lighter, the ones that we won't see. They're still there, but they won't. We're not going to darken them. So we would then be able to see this plane coming back here to there. We'd see the top a little bit where this edge would touch the other edge. right along there. We'd see this front edge, which we've already darkened. We would see this side edge right here. So we'd be able to see the top plane, we'd be able to see the left plane, and we'd be able to see the right plane. And when it's in 2-point perspective, we usually will talk about the planes as the corresponding back right plane and the corresponding front or back left plane. We can't see those. We only see the front left, the front right, and the top. That's the only 3 planes that we can see on this particular box that we've added and attached to there. And if we want to, we could do one through the top or even through the bottom. Maybe we'll do one through the bottom because that seems a little. People will seem to avoid that for whatever reason. So we're going to go ahead and let's bring this here. This is then going to come back. Okay, so we need where this one touches here. So that's where that would touch, that's where this would touch. We've got our 4 points. And now we need to bring this down. So what we do is we bring it down with the verticals. They just be coming straight down. And we could decide how far down we're going to bring this. Let's make it a little bit longer. We wouldn't be able to see this, so we'd make that checkered. But once it clears the bottom, well, of course, that would be the back plane, so we wouldn't see it at all. And this one we would see once it clears past there. So this one needs to be a broken line. Okay, because we won't see that. We already have where it touches, so this right here is the footprint of this particular box. If you need to brush up on 1- and 2-point perspective, again, I have videos that talk about creating 1- and 2-point perspective boxes. This would be, again, going up to the vanishing point. If this is done properly, again, now I could have set the vanishing points, but these should be diminishing. They should be getting smaller as they go away. That's probably actually diminishing a little too quickly, so we're going to go ahead and make the diminishment more like that. That's better. This will be the corner there, that'll be the corner there. Then we just got to connect this, and this would also be diminishing to these angles here. And if we want to do all 4, well, this would diminish, this one would diminish to this one, and it would actually have to diminish to this and this. If it's opening up for one and then diminishing the other, that means we've got the wrong angle. It has to diminish to both. And so that's, what, if we, as long as we're doing that, you're going to be pretty dang close. People will say, well, that means it'll be perspective-like, meaning that, yeah, it's doing what perspective does. It may not, the vanishing point may not be dead on these, but they're going to be pretty dang close. So close, it'd be like, okay, yeah, I'll buy that. And many times, that's what we're looking for, where we go, yeah, okay, I'll buy that. This would then diminish a little bit. Now, and sometimes you even have this when you set vanishing points. If you set vanishing points and they're hitting 2 different places, that means something's off, obviously. And it could be these angles could be off, but I'm guessing the biggest one was this. This one seemed just a little too strong. And so I'm going to check this. I'm going to see if it, now when I do that, it opens to both. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make it so it diminishes to both. So it's still diminishing to both of these. If I do that, though, this comes down and this hits here. That means this diminishment was too quick. which I was starting to wonder. Now, it's still diminishing, but this is now my angle. So that's still diminishing, but it's just softer. It's a softer diminishment. And so this is diminishing, that's diminishing, this is diminishing. Now all four sides not only meet, but they're diminishing, and they're going to be really close. And so I was checking, you can check an angle with another angle to make sure, like, again, this was way up here and it was diminishing too quick. And the reason we figured that out was because I double checked this one, and this one was, doing a really good job of diminishing both of that and that. After we brought this over, and I was like, okay. Now the last thing I'm going to check is if these two are diminishing, because they look like they're truly parallel. There's a diminishment there, but there's not much. So I'm going to go ahead and change this just a scotch. It's almost, you can't even hardly tell. It's that much of it's that little of a change. 'Cause it didn't need to change a lot. But that's going to change things just a bit here as well. That means this is going to come, whoops, too much. There you go. This will now come to here, and then I'll bring this back. Now again, if I had, I reversed it. Because if I did what I want to, this is now going to open up at the back, which is not correct. So I'm going to bring this back to where it was, because that was correct. Whoops. That's now diminishing slightly. And then this is going back to this, and is that still diminishing to both of those? Yeah, right about there. Okay. Again, that's pretty close. So just this jostling of that angle now has it so it's working. And now we've brought a box coming down off of this. All we would see is this side here. So we'd see that edge. We wouldn't see this edge, so that would have to be a broken line. We wouldn't see that back corner unless this was made out of glass or something. So we'll lighten that. Again, we'd see this. We would see this, like so. We would see this right here, and we'd see this one right here. Only till it hits here, because then it would become an unseen line. So again, up here would be broken, and then across here would be broken, and across here would be broken, because we couldn't see that. And this would be a broken line as well. Okay, so now we've added a box to the bottom of this. We've added a box to the front of it. And maybe we'll just do one more. We'll bring a box from this side. And so, because we did one on this side, but sometimes with 2 point, sometimes it's a little more of a mind bender. I like to call this visual, it's like visual puzzles, visual games. So we're going to go ahead, and these will be my 4 points. So these will be my 4 points right here, right there, right there, and right there. Now, I want this to come out at 90 degrees, so these lines are going to the right, but that means that this is going to come out at 90 degrees. It has to go to the opposite vanishing point. So we're going to have these angles from the left that are going to project this out this way. Because again, this is going this way. We need it to be 90 degrees. So whenever you want something to be 90 degrees, you have to switch to the other vanishing point. So these will now... There we go, it's a little easier. These will now be going, bring these forward. Bring these forward. Oops. Missed my dot. Let's go ahead and put my... All right. Okay. So again, now we've brought all these lines forward. And once again, I'm going to decide how far it projects out. And for this one, I'll just say, yeah, okay, we're going to go ahead and connect the top and bottom. This connects there. That connects there. And then all we have to do is we have to bring these back to the right so that I can then strike the last. I've got 1, 2, 3 verticals. I have to have where that corner is to then put my next vertical. So this is going to be diminishing back to the vanishing point. I'm trying to keep this in my peripheral. I'm trying to keep that in my peripheral. So again, that they're all vanishing to the same vanishing point. This then would be my last and final vertical coming up. Like so. And then this would be, you know, again going out. And I think I'm going to bring this out just a little bit so I can see the diminishment on this. This would then be going, you know, this direction, diminishing off the page. All right, so once again, I just moved this because, again, I put that down and that allowed me to see the angle. This is going to push this out to here. That means this angle is going to change a little bit. Again, that's all right because I'm trying to make sure. If I tried to touch that, it would have been like the vanishing point would have ended up right there. That's not it. It's out further. And so what I did is I said, all right, push that out a little bit and we're going to change this one. This one's a little too extreme. And we're not even changing it by a degree. It's like maybe half a degree. So I mean, it's so soft that, you know, it's not that big a thing. So now I'm going to go ahead and put in the lines that I can see. I could see this line right here. Right? I could see this line right here. I could see this line right there on this. I could see this line right here, right, going right down through there. I could see this line going through there. I could see this corner. So let's go ahead and make that line. We can see that one. And I could see this back corner here. So again, this is what I'd be able to see on this. And maybe we'll just we'll make this one transparent. We'd be able to see the top plane in yellow. So the top plane in yellow. We'd be able to see the side plane, which will make orange. So we'll be able to see that plane right there. So we're going to go ahead and then we've got this last plane that's going to be purple. Is this last plane that we can see, the third plane that we can see on here, again in purple. So what I want you to do, for those taking the class, now for anybody, this is again how we add boxes. If you're in my class, though, I'd like you to do a 1-point perspective box, add some boxes, do a 2-point perspective box, add some boxes to it, like we've done here. And it will just really help you start to visualize how to project things forward and backward in space, how to attach things. We also, of course, had this guy down here, you know, and he'd be underneath, so I don't, you know, a lot of him would be in shadow, unless he was lit from below, of course. But anyways, if the light was from above, a lot of this box would be in shadow. I'm just going to go ahead and I'll use blue-green for one side and purple for the other, because I can only see 2 planes with him. I can only see the right and left side. We can't see the bottom. I can't see the top is touching right there. We can't see that. So we can only see 2 of these guys. Like so. All right. There we go. So again, we've added 3 boxes to a 2-point perspective box. We added a box to a 1-point perspective box. I'd like you to, again, if I had a second set of with another plane right through here, we could connect it up and make a box. But I want you to go ahead and, again, for those in the class, try to connect some boxes. Get out your Prismacolors if it helps to keep in mind what is what while you're drawing it. That's a good idea. Use anything you can that'll help. Why wouldn't you? That'll be the easiest way to do it. So again, maybe on this one, if we could darken this, that we'd see here. Darken this, we could see that. Darken this. This is a little light, so we'll go ahead and darken this, because we could see that one. Again, maybe we'll just go ahead and darken it. All the stuff we can see over here. You know, but it gives you a really good idea, again, of how to connect boxes. And that's, again, what buildings are. It's what houses are. It's what, you know, barns are and things like that. If you're dealing with bridges and stuff, again, bridges are, you start with a box and then you start modifying it for the bridge. I mean, that's how it works. That's how we draw. And it'll help you when you can do that. You won't have any problem hand sketching anything. So anyways, this has been Kevin McCain with Idaho Art Classes and Kevin McCain Studios. And enjoy learning how to attach boxes together. And by doing that, you can create, you know, again, cityscapes and barns, you know, as you get more into bridges, anything, the sky's the limit. But this is the basis for constructing, you know, cityscapes, is being able to attach boxes and stuff. You guys have yourselves a great day. Be more creative. Take care now. Bye-bye.